So Evil Dead Rise has come out. Most of us have seen it, and it's a bona fide hit. It's tracking to be the most successful Evil Dead film in the franchise. So what's next for the series? And what do I want to see? Well, I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you what I want to see with. What's up, everybody? Nick here at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am here today to talk about the future of the Evil Dead franchise. Now, if you're new to my channel, you may not know this. You've seen me talk about Evil Dead a lot recently with a new movie, but if you are someone that has been around for a while, you know I'm a big Evil Dead fan. It's one of my favorite horror franchises. I honestly like it better than Friday. And so I feel compelled to talk about what I want to see next from this franchise. Now, Evil Dead Rise, there will be minor spoilers, I guess. I'll just get it out of the way really quick. We're going to mention the fate of Beth and how she is obviously still alive, as well as the little girl Cassie. So you're going to need to know that info going into this, but that's pretty much it. So as we sit here today, Evil Dead Rise is sitting at $47 million worldwide. That's not including international numbers from this week, because those don't get reported till week's end. So it's probably well over 50 now, but we won't know that until the end of the week. It's probably going to do anywhere from 10 to 13, 14 million in its second weekend, and then probably about half that, so on and so forth. So it's looking to make right around $100 million worldwide when it's all said and done. With a budget of anywhere from $15 to $19 million, it's a big win for Warner Brothers, because they're going to make 5 to 6 times their budget back. It was supposed to go just to HBO Max, so they're in the black with this movie. This is a good thing, and that's actually a big deal, and we don't talk about it enough, because the Evil Dead franchise has never been a series that's been like Friday the 13th or Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's so easy to market these movies. It's so easy to put them out there and just make $150, $200 million every time. It's not like that. Now, those franchises have had their lulls too, but at their peaks, that's what those movies do regularly. Evil Dead's never been that. The most successful Evil Dead movie is the reboot from 2013, which was $97 million worldwide, and it got decent reviews and positive word of mouth, and it still didn't even break 100 million. So this is a big deal. It's really cool. It's cool for horror fans, it's cool for Evil Dead fans, and it's just good news for movies in general. Rest in peace to all those that had those "the movie theaters are dead" takes. You look dumb now. So obviously we know at the end of the movie that Beth survives, as well as Cassie, and they go off to do who knows what. They're left alive, that book is still in the universe, and we see that Kandarian demon is still out as it possesses Jessica, I believe her name is, and we go back to the opening of the movie that was a day later and whatnot. So, I don't know, kind of jumbled mess of what I'm saying, but if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, where does the franchise go from here? Well, there's a lot of ways that you could go. I know Lee Cronin discussed some of the ideas that he had. You could either follow Beth and Cassie into their next adventure. You could follow the cleanup crew and the aftermath in that apartment complex. There's a couple different ways to go. I'm going to tell you right now, none of those really excite me. And maybe that's just because I'm thinking bigger and I'm selfish and I can't help but want to see certain characters come back and merge with other characters. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm like, oh yeah, that might be fine, but it's not really what I want. Here's what I want from Evil Dead moving forward. I've talked about this a few times, but let me give you a few specifics. I want to see Beth continue on in some way. Beth was really good in this movie, but it was not her movie. This was Ellie's movie. This was Ellie's character arc. This was a movie for Ellie and her kids. Wasn't really Beth's movie, and that's okay. Beth started to come around near the end, but there is so much more character development and so many more arcs that she could have, and I want to see that happen. So I want to see Beth continue on. Her world's tone matches the tone of 2013 almost perfectly. There's a little bit more dark comedy in this one than 2013. 2013 is just straight up horror, whereas this one, there's some dark comedy in there that you're like, oh, that's kind of zany. But they really do marry pretty well. I want to see Beth come in contact with Mia. Now, how does that happen? Do you have a survivors group of people that have survived traumatic experiences and Mia happens to be there? It might be a little far-fetched, but there's one idea. Is it that Mia is on the hunt for these books after what happened to her and somehow finds out about Beth and then comes in contact with Beth? Or is it happenstance? Does somebody else set them up? Does the demon itself bring them together without them knowing that it's going to happen? There are so many ways that you could do it. And luckily, I'm not a writer, so I don't have to figure that out. But I think you need to merge their worlds. I think that Beth and Mia need to merge in the next movie. If that's all it is, I am completely and totally happy. I don't need anything else. I've loved these last two movies. I love the original trilogy and the show. I love what Bruce Campbell has done for this series. But if he never came back, I would be okay with it. I really, really would. I feel like he gave us his A game, and if Bruce doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. And I'm fine with that. Merge these two movies, and then we're talking just, Now, if you really wanted to blow up the multiverse wide open, and you actually don't have to do that because these could all exist in the same universe, just a turn of phrase, and give me a Spider-Man No Way Home type reaction, you find a way to put Bruce Campbell in there too. Look, I'm an Evil Dead fan, and I know a lot of you watching are too. So what do you think of when you think of Evil Dead? Bruce Campbell. Come on. Duh. So, of course, if you told me you could find a way to put Bruce in this movie, or in this series again, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. My trepidation has always been, Bruce's trilogy really leaned a lot more into the slapstick, the comedy, the dark humor, whereas these new movies have been more straight horror than anything else. They've had their moments of that, but they've been more straight horror. Does Bruce fit with that tone? If you make Bruce, and I've said this many times, a Logan-type character, this grizzled veteran that is past his prime, wants nothing to do with this, and gets dragged in at the end of the movie, third act of the movie, he gets dragged in to have to help them, or they, recruit him, whatever it might be. I'm all for it. I'm all for Ash Williams coming back, but I think the only portrayal you could do at this point that would make sense in this universe is him being so over this shit and him not wanting to be a part of it. I feel like that's the only way you can get Ash into this world and make it feel lived in and real. So, that is a pipe dream. That's a lot of Evil Dead fans' pipe dream, but I would love to see it. So where do I want to see it go next? Above all else, Beth, meet Mia. That's really where I think we're going. The only hiccup here is getting Jane Levy to agree to it. That's it. That's really it. She had a really rough time filming Evil Dead 2013, not because of anything Fede or anybody involved did. It just wasn't an enjoyable process for her. Being covered in blood, freezing your ass off, beating yourself up, working throughout the night for these nighttime sequences and shots. She was just done by the time they were done filming. She was like, I never want to do that again. Took years off of horror, came back for Don't Breathe, and after Don't Breathe, said pretty much the same thing. I don't want to do that anymore. And she really hasn't acted in horror since then. But she's been marketing the movie with Alyssa Sutherland, Lily Sullivan, and some of the OG women from the original film and Evil Dead 2. So, yeah, you are in this fraternity, of course, but, you're also marketing this movie. I feel like it's not totally out of your blood, and I hope it's not, because Mia is one of the greatest final girls in modern history. Look, I think that's where it needs to go. It's where I want it to go. And I do believe it's where they're going to try to get it to go. Bruce Campbell said in an interview 2 weeks ago that when they were asked, he was asked about, these storylines potentially mixing and all these universes being woven. And he said, well, look, that's a conversation we'll have if this movie does well. If this movie does well, we'll have those conversations. So I think those conversations are happening. For me, you got to get Jane back. You have to. I don't care what you have to pay her, Warner Brothers. You pay her what you pay her. This movie's doing well enough. You'll be fine. Bring her back. That's what I want to see. I want to see Beth and Mia. I want to see Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise come together. Man, would I shit a brick. But you guys let me know down below in the comments section where you want to see Evil Dead go next. Do you like my idea? Do you have a different idea? Do you just want a straight sequel with just Beth and no merging of the worlds? Anything and everything down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like on it if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on social media. All the links are down below in the description. And this is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am pulling out.